Ask me, what a surprise. Just get tired of it.
I don't know, Crank. Would you have like any? I mean, being the ex-pro player,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever have any points in your career where you're just like, yeah, of course they want to cast me?
Uh, somehow I know really top pro gamers. You guys know, you guys like, I love a lot, but I don't really want to say the name, exact name. He always deny casting.
There's a lot of Koreans that will,
Yeah.
they deny casting a lot, and I just imagine they just don't want lag or anything interfering in their game. At least that's what I hope is the case.
No, it's more like they know, oh, they would like to love casting my game, but I really hate to show my game to next opponent or other pro gamers.
Strategy, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, hopefully my casting will hold up strong in this, as the microphone's been causing some problems, but we're going to go for it. It's Rifkin, Zombie Grub, and Crank coming at you with a bit of a tri-cast, some trifecta of love. Unfortunately for Crank, this is apparently the one matchup he's not super confident in, but that's all right, because Zombie Grub and I have been casting nothing but TVT for a week straight. Like, seriously, 80-something games of TVT. We know what's up. In the bottom left corner of the map, he's currently playing for the Team Extreme Supremacy, but we all know him and love him for his time spent on Axiom. It's going to be the red Terran Ryung.
In the top left, as the blue Terran, it's Maru. Woo!
Now, again, I really want to emphasize, guys, Ryung was definitely not the best player on Axiom through his stint in HOTS. But when he stepped into the beta, I don't know if something just clicked, what it was, but his TVT looks really good now. Probably, in my opinion, one of his best matchups from what we've seen him on stream with. But in general, he seems to have improved quite a bit. Does he have what it takes to take on Maru? That's going to be determined in this best of 3. Because Maru, we cast one single game in a TVZ, and his multitasking was on point. Forget composition, forget balance. Just his control of the game looks sick. Ooh, nice little hide from Ryung, by the way. This will be a nice little scout in a moment or two.
Well, the first Reaper is out. Maru did lose this one versus True. Oh, no, lose this one too. Oh, God.
So, Maru... But he did win versus True, so maybe this is like the Beyond effect, where you take a loss early and then come back to win later.
Probably.
Oh, SCV almost gets his code. Awkward depots are awkward, but yeah, Ryung will be shut out of the base. He sees the starport timing, though, and most importantly, the tech lab associated with the barracks instead of the factory. In TVT, one thing we've been seeing a lot of lately, and I really want to emphasize a lot of, is that Cyclone influencing the matchup pretty heavily. So one of the big scouts Ryung gets off this right off the bat is that it's not going to be a Cyclone, it's going to be a Banshee. Again, that ramp proving to be a problem. This Reaper from Maru will come up to the main. Did you see that? Yeah, okay, he saw the tech lab. So he knows, oh, he saw it spinning too, so he knows that Ryung's going to be coming to the Banshee as well.
Wow, it's so fast. Reaper!
Okay, so Cyclone starts up here from Maru on the other side of the map. This is exactly what we're getting into. Shout out, by the way, if you guys didn't see it, Bunny, and spoiler alert here, yeah, he 3-1'd Journey in our TVT semifinals recently, but he also had this really sick Cyclone micro that got highlighted by the SC2 highlights people. 10 out of 10, worth checking out. But between that highlight and every other game we've cast, this Cyclone has proven to be the best early game defense. I made a joke of calling it the Terran Mothership Core, but it's essentially what it is. It's one unit that babysits the early game.
The Banshees are going across the map for both players. Oh, wait, Ryung? Oh, Ryung's taking a long way.
Oh, wait, Ryung? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, he knows where his opponent is. He's just going to come in from the top right.
Yeah.
Oh, the one of mine didn't hit it.
That's very unfortunate. He does have a Raven out, though, between Marines and an auto turret. I don't imagine Maru's going to get too many kills here. He shouldn't, at least. Auto turret's so strong now. Seriously.
Yeah. Takes a good chunk of that health away from the Banshee. And it's only one Banshee, and Maru did bother to get Cloak, as well as Adept and Colossus, so...
Well, Ryung wouldn't send that Banshee because he cancelled Cloak. So that's why he doesn't really try to attack with his Banshee. He would rather save the Banshee for future, yes.
That makes sense. Maru, though, did invest into it, so even though the first Banshee got denied pretty quickly, it bothers to make a second one.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like this. This is something that's kind of a Ryung thing to do. He has actually been one of the people who I've really liked watching because of his air control. I know there's talks about the tank changes, and you guys have all heard Rifkin bitch enough on stream for sure. But 4 to 5 Vikings with a Raven early game provides a lot of control. And something that will definitely deny future Banshees. It'll shut down medevac drops. In fact, these two Vikings are going to catch this Banshee. She can try to cloak, but a scan could easily clean this up if he wants to chase. I guess not enough energy. Yeah, he just muled. So late game TVT though still looks somewhat the same to what you would expect. It's still heavily Marine tank, with the biggest influencing factor being the way medevacs have changed tank drops and shuffling them around. But it still feels like for most players we cast, it's awkward. A lot of people just don't seem to have the best logic for that 1.5 second delay on the tank drops, and we just see brute force tanks drop versus tanks, and the biggest numbers win.
Well, Ryung is going to try and get that air control, it looks like, with 5 Vikings now. It's actually more than we've seen in a while, isn't it? We're up to 7.
That's actually, yeah, wow. That's actually going to be a really heavy, I mean, this is kind of cool, but also kind of a heavy investment to air that may not pay off, because he's got no medevac support for this. There's no shuffling the tanks around. There's not going to be healing on the Marines. I mean, the attack coming is definitely brute force, and Ryung's got a big supply lead in that regard. Ugh.
Well, so obviously the Banshees won't be a big problem either, so let's we can actually just subtract that.
Better
from,
not be.
You just subtract that from Maru's army supply. And this was a very deadly push. I know Supernova back when he was actually playing did this push a lot with the Viking control and would absolutely just demolish his opponent, seemingly no matter what they did. So much so that we in fact started to incorporate it in our Archon mode. This is like the only thing we tried doing. But it really fell off.
I like lifting the command center here. It might be a little preemptive, but this kind of guarantees no damage on it. Siege tanks can't advance forward because of Maru's own siege tanks, of course, but this barracks, of course, could be picked off, as I say, of course, 4 or 5 more times.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, landing the Vikings, seeing the SCV pull coming was a smart-ass move. Auto turrets get taken out right away, but the SCVs get shredded through this. Auto turrets on the backside are going to chip away at the tank, and looks like Maru will break this push.
Yeah, while he loses the SCVs, he keeps most of his army alive. Look at that army supply now.
Yeah, Ryung doesn't
might be unwinnable.
Yeah, Ryung.
I mean,
there's no siege tanks. There's no defense.
That was like almost all in, and his attack was really late. I mean, he was supposed to go to Maru base before his team pack and a weapon upgrade was done. You know, that was really late. I didn't really think it would work there, because the way he researched his team pack and weapon upgrade, it was just in time. You know.
I think versus a basically a worse player, all right, like someone who isn't as calm and collected or hasn't faced this type of a scenario too often, because it was very hard to storm scenario. They would have panicked. They would have lost Marines accidentally, you know, putting into the tanks. They wouldn't have left the command center immediately. They would have pulled the SCVs. They would have tried to break it some other way. I mean, it was a pretty perfect hold, and certainly that in regards to Ryung's timing on it. But either way, that push can be deadly, and it just wasn't. Not to Maru.
I just really want to stress how important that SCV lift was too for those